Blaise Pascal invented this Pascaline, and the Pascaline is the first machine and automatic calculator. In the exam, you may need to get the question, who is the father of computer? On that time, you have to mention Charles Babbage is the father of computer. Whereas in the first generation, magnetic drums, second generation, magnetic tapes, whereas in third generation, magnetic core as primary storage media is used here. Welcome back to one and all. Myself, Vasanta, lecturer in computer science, Vidhyaashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Today, we will start with the second session of Overview of Computer. This is the first chapter on your first PU syllabus, whereas in the previous class, already you came to know regarding the definition of computer, that is, it is an electronic storage unit and it stores the data, processes the data, and after processing, it will generate the result to the user. Then characteristics of computer, that is speed, accuracy, storage, cost, that are the characteristics of computer. Then the difference between data and information, that is data is a raw facts, figures and statistics, whereas information is a processed data. Then hardware and software, that is, what do you mean by hardware is nothing but the physical component of the computer that we can touch and feel, and software means set of instructions it will perform specific task. Then functional components of computer, that is input unit, output unit, memory unit as well as CPU. Regarding that, already you came to know in the previous session. Whereas in today's session, you will come to know regarding the history of computer, or we can say it as the evolution of computer. Then the generation of computer. Evolution is nothing but how computers are developed, the history, especially the history, who developed the first computer, who is called father of computer, which are the types of computers, all those things you will come to know on today's sessions. First, we will discuss about Abacus, because it's very important question. In the exam, you may need to get the question, explain the history of computer. The minimum 5 to 6 points you have to write. Under that, the first point itself, Abacus. Abacus is the first calculating machine. It is the first calculating machine used for counting purpose. This is the Abacus. Here, for addition purpose as well as for subtraction purpose, we are using this Abacus. But nowadays, it is used for all type of calculation like multiplication, division. To perform all that also, we are using Abacus. Whereas in early stages, only addition as well as subtraction we can able to perform. Abacus is mainly used for addition and subtraction. Later on, it is multiplication as well as for division purpose we are using this Abacus, and it performs some of complex calculations. Some of complex calculations nowadays we can able to perform by using this Abacus. Abacus is the first early known computer. For 1 marks also, you may need to get the question, which is the early known computer. On that time you have to mention Abacus. Okay. Then the next one is Napier Bones. This is the Napier Bones. It is developed by John Napier. Whereas in Abacus, in the beginning, only we can able to perform addition as well as subtraction. But by using Napier bone, we can able to perform multiplication operation also we can able to perform. And it consists a bones like this format. On this, we can able to perform all type of calculations like multiplication, addition as well as subtraction. A rod is similar to one column of a multiplication. Each rod represents multiplication here. This is clear for all of you. The first one is Abacus. Regarding that you have to explain. The second point you have to explain regarding Napier bones. And the next one is slide rule. This slide rule was invented by William Outred. This is the slide rule. For calculation purpose, we are using this slide rule. And it has got two scales that are joined together with a margin space. If you observe this, here two scales are there, they are margined. There is one more margin here. By that, we can able to perform all type of calculation. and it helps to perform multiplication as well as division with the help of addition and subtraction. If you observe, in Abacus, only addition and subtraction. But in Napier Bones, with that addition as well as subtraction, multiplication also we can able to perform. Whereas by using slide rule, we can able to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication. With that, we can able to perform division also. This is regarding slide rule. And it is developed by William Outred. And the next one is adding machine. This is the adding machine. In 1642, at the age of 19, a French mathematician by the name of Pascal invented this Pascaline. Blaise Pascal invented this Pascaline, and the Pascaline is the first machine and automatic calculator. Here I can able to perform all type of operation, and with that it helps to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all type of operations we can able to perform by using this Pascaline. This Pascaline is developed by Blaise Pascal. And the next one is regarding, you have to mention regarding Charles Babbage. Charles Babbage is also called as father of computer. Charles Babbage is also called as father of computer because in the exam you may need to get the question, who is the father of computer? On that time you have to mention Charles Babbage is the father of computer. And in the early 1822s, an English mathematician by the name of Charles Babbage designed a computing machine called difference engine. He developed one engine called as difference engine. Here he can able to perform all type of operation. This machine was to be used in the calculating and printing a similar math tables. To print that also we are using this difference engine. In 1830s, he designed a second computing machine called Analytic Engine. It means that Charles Babbage developed two engines. One is difference engine and one more is analytical engine. First he developed difference engine, later on he developed analytic engine. And here it is mainly used for calculation purpose as well as whatever calculation we have done that we can print also. This machine consists of 5 units which become the basic principles for the development of modern computers. This is the difference engine. And one more thing here you have to remember, that is Lady Ada Lovelace. She is the first female programmer. Who is the first programmer in the exam if they ask? Then you have to mention Lady Ada Lovelace. She is the first female programmer. With that, she is an assistant to this Charles Babbage. And he has written all the concept regarding algorithm format, how to write the program. For that, which are the steps you have to follow. That's why she is called as first female programmer also. She is the first female programmer. She is the first female programmer. Next one, Writ tabulating machine. In 1889, an American mathematician, Herman Writ, invented a calculating machine to count the population of USA. This is the Writ tabulating machine, and this mainly used it for calculation purpose. To calculate the population of USA, they used this engine. And here this electronic machine is able to read the information on the punched cards and process it electrically. Electrically it can able to store that data also. Herman Writ was the founder of the company, then became famous IBM. Is the owner of that. And here founder of this IBM, Herman Writ. Then next we will discuss about the generation of computer. Whereas in the history of computer, compulsory you have to mention regarding Abacus, first point. Then Napier Bones. What is the use of Napier Bones? Addition, subtraction as well as multiplication. Whereas slide rule, there we can able to perform addition, subtraction as well as division. Then the next one is adding machine. Especially Blaise Pascal developed this Pascaline. And the next one is Charles Babbage. Regarding that you have to mention. With that, Lady Ada Lovelace. She is the first female programmer. Then with that, Hollerith tabulating machine. These are the major points you have to write under history of computer. Next, we'll discuss about the generation of computer. What do you mean by this generation of computer? The generation is nothing but how the development occurs on each year. That can be called as the generation of computer. When they come on generation, there are 5 types of generation. First generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation as well as fifth generation. When they come on first generation, the main technique or device they are using is vacuum tube. They are using vacuum tube. This is the main technology they are using in first generation. And each computer will look like one factory. Each computer will look like factory, and for storage purpose, we are using magnetic drums are used. If I want to store any data, then we need magnetic drum. On that drum only, all the data will store here. And with that, the power consumption is also more here. If I want to make that computer has to work, then I require lot of power. The power consumption will be more. Then obviously, if the power consumption is more, the heat production is also more there. Heat production is also more there. With that, they are using punched cards for input purpose. For example, they have to bring the wire with a punch, then they have to punch somewhere where he wants to give the data. That means must and should, if I want to give any data, then punched cards only we have to use. Then with that, if I want to give any instruction, compulsory we have to give it in zeros and ones. That is machine understandable language only we have to give. Then for example, if I want to mention 10 or A, then 1010 that represents A. Then if I want to represent 1, 0001. If I want to represent 2, 0010. Like that, all the instructions must and should we have to give in binary language only. Then if I made any mistake, then it is very difficult to identify where we have done the mistake. And with that, after identifying the mistake, the correction is also very difficult. Okay, these are the major thing regarding first generation. The main thing is vacuum tubes, magnetic drums are used, punched cards are used, and here binary languages are used. With that, power consumption will be more. With that, obviously the heat production is also more, and with that it is not portable. We cannot able to shift first generation computer from one place to another place. Example, ADVAC, UNIVAC, these are the few examples for first generation computer. Now is it clear? Then next we will move on second generation computer. In second generation computer, the main technique or switching device I use it is transistor. This is a transistor. Whereas this is the vacuum tube. In the first generation they use it. Whereas in second generation they use it this transistor. This is the main technique they use it. And in second generation starts from 1956 to 1963. We used to call it as second generation computer. And whereas in first generation we are using magnetic drums for storage purpose. Whereas in second generation they are using magnetic tapes for storage purpose. Then with that, the speed 10 microseconds it takes. That time sharing and multitasking operating system we are using here. Whatever time we have, that time can be shared by multiple jobs. That is time sharing, multitasking operation is possible. Whereas in first generation, only one person can able to work. With that, here we cannot able to perform more tasks at the same time. For each and every task, individual transaction it has to be takes place. Whereas here, the mainly we are using assembly level language as well as high level languages are used here. Whereas especially here they use it assembly level language. Whereas assembly level language, what do you mean by that? Whereas in first generation, we are using binary level language. That is, all the instruction must and should be to write in 0 and 1. Whereas in second generation, we are using assembly level language. Assembly level language, for example, move, A, add, B, store, C. This can be called as assembly level language. And here, by using this assembly level language, we can able to give the data to the computer. And with that, obviously, the power consumption will be less compared to first generation. And heat production is also less compared to first generation. And portability wise also, it is portable compared to first generation. And COBOL, Fortran are used on this time. COBOL language, Fortran were introduced on this particular time. Example, Stretch by IBM. This is an example for second generation computer. The main thing here in second generation, they use it transistors. And for storage purpose, magnetic tapes are used. Power consumption is less compared to first generation. Heat production is less compared to first generation. Then next we will move on third generation. Third generation start from 1964 to 1971. On this we are using integrated circuit. This is the integrated circuits. Whereas in first generation we are using vacuum tube, second generation transistor, third generation ICs, that is integrated circuits are used. And the main idea is integrated circuits, and it is made up from silicon, and the storage is magnetic cores are used here for storage purpose. Whereas in the first generation magnetic drums, second generation magnetic tapes, whereas in third generation magnetic core as primary storage media is used here. And the speed 100 nanoseconds, and operating system here we are using real-time operating system, and we are using here high-level languages. What do you mean by high-level language and binary level language? Binary level language is nothing but the instructions which are written by using 0 and 1 only. If the instructions, if you write by using zeros and ones, then it can be called as binary level language. Whereas here we are using high level languages. High level language is nothing but general English. By that we can able to write the instructions. Then after writing the instruction, that we will converting into binary level language by using compiler. Whereas on this generation we are using compiler. On that case, what happens? Whatever instructions we want, that we will write in English only, that is in high level language. But the compiler will convert this high level language to machine understandable language, that is zeros and ones format, there it will convert. That is regarding high level language will converting into binary language by using compiler. Examples are RCA, Spectra 70 and IBM 360. These are the example for third generation computer. Next one, fourth generation computer. This fourth generation computer starts from 1971 till present. We used to call it as fourth generation computer. On this, we are using large scale integrated circuit as well as very large scale integrated circuits are introduced here. The main switching technique here they use it is large scale integrated circuit as well as very large scale integrated circuits are used in fourth generation computer. The storage device here we are using semiconductor memories are used, and the speed 300 nanoseconds, and operating system we are using real time and graphical user interface are used, that is GUI stands for graphical user interface, and here also we are using high level languages. Whatever instructions we want, that we will write by using high level language, that will convert by the compiler to binary level languages. Then example IBM PC. This is the example, and this is the very large scale integrated circuits. Whereas the main technique here we are used large scale integrated circuit as well as very large scale integrated circuits. Whereas in first generation vacuum tubes, this is a vacuum tube. Second generation magnetic, here when you come on storage magnetic tape, but the main technique we are using transistor. First generation vacuum tube, second generation transistor, third generation we are using ICs, that is integrated circuits. Whereas fourth generation we are using large scale integrated circuits as well as very large scale integrated circuits are used. Example IBM PC. And the last one is that is fifth generation computers. Fifth generation computer, especially here the main technique we are used is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence we are used here. Artificially we can identify how human beings will identify. In the same way, the robots also can able to identify the work, what is the task, everything they can able to decide by themselves. That is artificial intelligence they use it. And storage is optical disk are used, and the speed is 1.5 billion instructions per second it can able to perform. And operating system, here mainly the operating system they used, knowledge information processing system. Depending upon the situation, that robots itself can decide what is the next task it has to perform. That means here the main thing they use it, artificial intelligence they use it. And here instructions are written in high level language, and automatically it can convert into binary, and whenever it requires on that time automatically it can convert it to high level language also. Depending upon the situation, artificial intelligence will work. How a human being will think, in the same way the computers can think and they can decide their work. Then major concept on this class you have studied regarding the history of computer. That is, what do you mean by abacus? This is the first calculating machine. Napier Bones, whereas in abacus addition and subtraction, whereas in Napier addition, subtraction as well as multiplication, whereas slide rule addition, subtraction, multiplication as well as division we can able to perform. Adding machine, that is Pascaline, and the next one is Charles Babbage. Charles Babbage is also called as father of computer, and this Charles Babbage having one assistant. That assistant name is Lady Ada Lovelace. She is the first female programmer, and this Charles Babbage will put two engine. One is difference engine and one more is analytical engine. And the next one is, when they come on Lady Ada Lovelace, she is also called as first female programmer. And Writ tabulating machine. Here this is mainly used for calculation purpose. To calculate population of USA, they use this machine. And the next one, when they come on generation, 5 types of generation. First generation, second generation, third, fourth and fifth. First generation vacuum tubes, second generation transistor, third generation ICs, fourth generation large scale integrated circuit as well as very large scale integrated circuit, whereas fifth generation artificial intelligence they use it. But when we are writing the answers for each and every question, for example, first one, the major point you have to mention regarding vacuum tube as well as storage, that is magnetic drums. Then which are the another points you can write, that is regarding power consumption you can write, regarding how much heat it is produced, regarding portability you can mention. But when they come on second generation, there the main technique we are using transistor and storage is magnetic tapes. With that you can mention regarding power consumption. The power consumption is less compared to first generation. Heat production is less compared to first generation, as well as portability is easy compared to first generation. Then in the third generation also you can mention regarding ICs, that is integrated circuit, and what is a major storage device here we are using magnetic core. Then power consumption is compared to less. Power consumption is less compared to first and second generation. Portability is easy compared to first and second generation. Heat production is also less compared to first and second generation. Next, whereas in the fourth generation also you can mention regarding large scale integrated as well as very large scale integrated circuits, and with that heat production is less compared to first, second and third generation. Then portability also is very easy compared to first, second as well as third generation. And what is the operating system we are using, regarding that you have to explain. Then when we come on fifth generation, there it is portable. Wherever we want, there we can able to take that system, that is for example laptop, from one place to another place. Whereas in first generation it is not possible. There if I want to shift one computer from one place to another place, it is very difficult because each systems look like a factory. There it is not portable. Whereas in third generation as well as fourth as well as fifth, compared to the previous generation, it is easy. Portability is easy here. Then regarding storage devices you can mention, then speed, everything you can mention. Any minimum 5 points you have to mention in each and every generation. which is the technique they use it and which is the storage device they use it. Then next class we will meet with the remaining concept like the classification of computer, where we are using the computer, how computers are classified depending on size and performance, as well as how depending upon the classification, that is analog, digital, hybrid, all the things in the next class we will explain you. Thank you for all of you.